Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandom at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you all about it. First of all, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. So download the free Anchor app now or go to Anchor.fm to get started.
He personified the Minnesota Vikings' identity as one of the most rugged men to ever play for the franchise. He earned the nickname Hammerhead for roughing up a field goal post and running through opposing linemen. He played 14 gritty seasons in the National Football League for 2 teams. He was captain of the special teams unit as an aging player. He played in 3 Super Bowls and made the Pro Bowl 4 times throughout his stellar career. He set numerous records for the team, including games played, games started at one position, rushing touchdowns, rushing attempts. He was also honored as one of the 50 greatest players in Minnesota Vikings history. This is Pigskin Tales, the story of Bill Boom Boom Brown.
William Dorsey Brown was born on June 29, 1938 in Mendota, Illinois. As of this writing, I couldn't find any information on the early life of the football celebrity. On September 26, 1938, American diarist Edward Robb Ellis wrote, "Today I heard the voice of Adolf Hitler. His oratory is so menacing that he chills one's blood." At that time, Hitler was a dictator of Germany and was allies with Italy and Benito Mussolini. He went on to write that he was opposed to the United States getting involved in World War II, but it seemed inevitable with what was going on around him. 3 years later, Japan surprised the United States with an attack on Pearl Harbor, and the next day, United States President Roosevelt declared war on the Japanese. Once Hitler found this out, he paid a visit to his ally Mussolini, and together they declared war on the United States. Thus began the Second World War. As a student athlete for Mendota High, Brown excelled in shot put, winning the state title as a junior with a heave of 55 feet 2 inches. As a senior, he came in second place to his eventual Chicago Bears teammate Mike Pyle. According to Kip Cheek, the sports editor for the Mendota Reporter, Brown's best heave set a school record at 58 feet 7 inches, a record that hasn't been broken in 70 years. Cheek also asked him to discuss his time as a football player in high school. "We had a goof outfit. A lot of guys go on to play college ball," Brown said. "We definitely had some great experiences. We had a lot of fun games, and some were disappointing, but not many. We were in the hunt most of the time." After graduation in 1957, Brown chose to attend the University of Illinois. When Cheek asked Brown why he chose Illinois for college football, Brown explained that it was an easy decision to make because his brother Jim was already playing football there. Brown also went on to say that eventually Jim backed him up as a fullback. As his college career blossomed, he impressed pro football scouts with his toughness, perseverance, and pass-catching ability out of the backfield. In 1961, the owner, general manager, and head coach George Halas and the Chicago Bears drafted Bill Brown in the second round. It was always a dream of his to play in the National Football League, but Brown also received offers from teams in the American Football League and the Canadian Football League. Even though the money was significantly better in the CFL, Brown chose to sign with the Bears in 1961. In an excerpt from an interview with Brown, he talked about his short-lived career with the Bears. Quote, "I was a backup fullback and played maybe 8 to 10 plays a game. I didn't see eye to eye with Mr. Halas, so I told him I wanted him to either play me or trade me. Well, he decided to trade me. He talked me into signing the second year, but traded me to the Vikings just before training camp. I landed in Minneapolis on Friday and got the playbook on Saturday. We were scheduled to play the Packers on Sunday. I remembered sitting on the sidelines and somebody yelled, 'Brown!' And I looked around and it was Van Brocklin. I looked around because I had just gotten there and I didn't know if there was another Brown. Nobody got up, so I ran up there. Van Brocklin said we were going to throw the ball a lot, and because I was a good blocker, I could release and run the patterns. But I didn't even know the patterns. All we ran was special teams on Saturday morning when we practiced, so I knew none of the plays. I ended up reading as much of the playbook as I could Saturday night, and I got coaching from Tommy Mason and Fran Tarkenton on what I was supposed to do when I got out there. So that helped quite a bit. That wasn't expected when you show up 2 days before. You know, you'd like to get acclimated first. Well, I got acclimated in a hurry. I got my feet wet and did fairly well in that game, so I played most of the year then." Unquote. Man, it is hard to comprehend how fast he actually had to learn a full playbook within 48 hours. I mean, after getting uprooted from one team and having to play right away on a different team in a city you know nothing about, thankfully he had two teammates that decided to help him figure out what he needed to do in order to be successful. Despite the Vikings only winning 2 games in 1962, they got to know each other pretty well. Their only wins came back-to-back in October against the Los Angeles Rams in LA and the Philadelphia Eagles in Minneapolis. In 1963, the team got better and put together a record of 5-8-1. They still didn't qualify for the playoffs, but they were gelling as a team. Norm Van Brocklin still had high hopes for the franchise. In a discussion with authors Bill Williamson and Eric Thompson for their book Tales from the Minnesota Vikings Sidelines, Boom Boom remembers how Van Brocklin chewed players' butts for how bad they performed. Norm would undress guys right in front of everyone. He'd yell at guys pretty good. I saw many of my buddies get yelled at by Norm. By now, you must be wondering, how did Boom Boom Brown get his nickname? According to Williamson and Thompson, in '63 there was a picture printed in a local newspaper with the title Boom Boom Booms Again. That described how Brown played as a member of the newly established Vikings. "Everybody calls me Boom Boom. People I know call me Boom Boom, and people I don't know call me Boom Boom." At first I was appalled by the nickname, but the more people I didn't know that called me Boom Boom, I just learned to live with it. I guess after 40 years of people calling me Boom Boom, I guess I finally like it. I sign autographs with Boom Boom now. In 1964, Brown produced his best season statistically. He averaged 16 carries per ball game, ran for a season total of 866 yards, and scored 7 rushing touchdowns. In addition, he caught 48 passes for 703 yards and scored 9 receiving touchdowns. The league felt that he deserved to make the Pro Bowl that season, the first of 4 trips. With Brown excelling at the fullback position, the team had their best season to date: 8 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie. They still didn't make the playoffs, but as a team, they were making significant headway. In 1965, even though Brown's production was down slightly, he made the Pro Bowl for the second straight time.
The 1965 season saw the Vikings finish with 7 wins and 7 losses. It was a season highlighted by a versatile, explosive offense and spiced by violent, hard-hitting defense. For head coach Norm Van Brocklin, it was another year of progress, and under his experienced eye, the Viking offense blossomed into a strong striking force which rated 4th in the NFL.
In 1966, Boom Boom Brown and the Vikings were a good team in the league, just not good enough. Even though they ranked 4th in offense for the second straight year and 5th in total defense, which is up 2 spots from the season before, they only managed to win 4 games. As a fan, I cannot understand this stat. If your team is good and the teams you are playing against are just as good, if not slightly better, then how is it possible to lose 9 out of 14 games? It just doesn't make sense. Tarkenton led the team with 17 passing touchdowns. Brown led the team in rushing yards and touchdowns, and Dale Heckbart led the defensive scoring opportunities with 5 interceptions. Overall, the defense seemed pretty stout at the time, letting the second fewest yards allowed in the air. They ranked 7th in rushing yards allowed. On offense, they rushed the ball for 142 yards per game and were ranked 3rd in the league. But their air attack was average, 182 yards per game, ranking 7th. So it seemed like Coach Van Brocklin had a great team and a great game plan. It's just that they couldn't beat the Bears or the Packers. And that's why they lost 9 of 14 games. In the spring of the 1967 season, the team started over with a new head coach from the Canadian Football League. You all know him as Bud Grant, the winningest and longest tenured coach in Vikings franchise history. Here is what Coach Grant had to say about Bill Brown.
Bill Brown when I came to the Vikings, Bill was already here. I remember looking at films when I first came here and said, holy smokes, this guy is a football player. Bill had the durability to play every down, and he was a kind of a runner that if you approach him to tackle him, you better be ready because he's not going to avoid you. He's going to run through you, over you, around, and take you on. For a fullback and all the blocking and all the tough inside running that he did, he was a great pass receiver. His hands were as good as anybody we had on a team. And even at the end of his career, he was captain of our special teams at one time. He was an all-around football player. Could run, could catch, could block, and tackle. Probably had all the 5 ingredients that make a great football player. And Boom Boom was as good as we ever had.
The season in a nutshell was tough. A lot of fans had high hopes that Grant could take them to the playoffs with a whole new system, a whole new way to look at the X's and O's, and a whole new approach to how to practice. Unfortunate for the fans, they did not get their wish. The team recorded 3 wins, 8 losses, and 3 ties. The silver lining here, though, is that Boom Boom made the Pro Bowl again. He recorded 610 rushing yards on 185 attempts and scored 5 times. It was his ability to protect the quarterback that impressed the judges of the Pro Bowl selection committee. In 1968, Brown again made the Pro Bowl for scoring 11 rushing touchdowns on 805 yards from scrimmage on 222 attempts in 14 games. He also hauled in 31 passes for 329 yards and scored 3 times. Overall, he gained 1,134 all-purpose yards and scored 14 touchdowns. The team under Bud Grant secured their first ever playoff spot, but lost to the Baltimore Colts in the first round, 14-24. Fans at that time were like, hey, at least we finally made it to the playoffs. It's a step in the right direction. I believe one of the biggest reasons why the Vikings made it to the playoffs that season is that they had a head coach who was stone cold emotionless on the sidelines, and they actually had a coach who called the offensive plays instead of the head coach doing double duty. If you're not familiar with Jerry Burns, Google him. Going from 3-8 in 67 to 8-3 in 68 was a big deal. Another reason why they were able to make it into the playoffs in 1968 was their pass defense. Ranked third out of 16 teams, the 1968 Vikings gave up an average of 132 yards per game, sacked the opposing quarterback 44 times, and gave up 16 total touchdowns on the season. Statistically, that is a very good defense, and Coach Bob Halloway deserves a lot of credit. Going into the 1969 season, the team had very high hopes of making it past the first round of the playoffs. They got a taste of what it was like a season ago, and they wanted back in. The Vikings earned their second straight playoff spot with winning 12 games and a Central Division title. Overall, the team ranked first in the league for points scored on offense and allowing the least points on defense. Their rushing defense became stout and dubbed the Purple People Eaters. So where did Bill Brown fit in? Statistically, his numbers dipped because Coach Burns spread the ball around between running backs Dave Osborne and Brown, and Joe Kapp threw to his wide receivers Washington, Henderson, and Beasley. However, Boom Boom did what he does best and protected the quarterback and ran over opposing linemen when called upon. When the Vikings made the playoffs in 1969, they defeated the Los Angeles Rams in the divisional round and the Cleveland Browns in the NFL Championship to get to the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl IV. It was an exciting time to be a fan of the Minnesota Vikings.
Let's go, man. Pop it out of that end zone, Jan. Come on, boy. Get it up in the air. Get it up in the air. Cover, Red, cover. Right return. Get it, Johnny. Get it.
After 4 minutes of play, the Chiefs gained possession of the ball and immediately revealed Hank Stram's well-conceived offensive game plan. Stram had decided that the Chiefs could move against the Viking defense on quick pitch passes in front of the Minnesota cornerbacks.
Throw that thing on the outside, Leonard. That double wing, do it more often. You're throwing a what? He can't cover that thing, Lenny. Throw it anytime. That pitch on the outside. That's a good time to throw it right there, you see. Let's go tight eye, double hook. Pass! Pass! First down! Stuff in front is like stealing. We got to do more of it.
Quarterback Lynn Dawson proved the worth of Stram's strategy. 6 of his 7 completions in the first half were quick, sudden throws to the sideline.
Oh! That's it. That's the one. They can't cover that in a million years. No way in the world they can cover that stuff. See, that's like stealing over there. Double team those ends, no way they can cover that stuff. They keep them down so we throw over the top.
Take it to the buddy! The Chiefs operated from a bewildering cluster of offensive formations, leaving the Vikings too confused to properly defend the passes.
We're catching them moving. We're catching them moving a little bit. They're not ready for that quick count. Look at them running around. They didn't even know where to go on the lineup. They didn't know where Mike was. Didn't know where he was. They didn't know where to go. Yeah, Kasulki was running around there like it was a Chinese fire drill. They look like they're flat as hell.
Watch it pass! After Dawson had the Vikings thinking about his quick passes to the outside, he moved his attentions to his running game. Kansas City's running backs moved like lizards, slithering in and out of slits and crevices in the Viking line. Although they did not break free for long runs, they gained consistently and gave the Chiefs essential control of the first quarter and genuine domination of the second.
Come on, Lenny. Pump it in there, baby. Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys. Push it all down. What'd you have?
I didn't have calls, but
I wonder if we can go blue slots, 32 XGO, back into the sideline here. All right? Keep negotiating that ball right down the field, boys.
The least visible but most important aspect of Strand's game plan was executed by Kansas City's well-schooled offensive line. Wary of the quick, wild rush of Minnesota's two all-pro ends, Carl Eller, number 81, and Jim Marshall, number 70, the Chiefs made them cautious early in the game. They ran the ball inside and outside and varied their blocking pattern so often that neither Marshall nor Eller could totally commit himself to driving in on the quarterback.
Field goal.
In the first quarter and again in the second, Jan Stenerud kicked field goals and gave the Chiefs a 6-0 lead.
That's a good start. That's a good start. A good kick. That's away. Yeah, that's it. All right. Okay, let's do a job. Hey, these guys can't move the ball against us. Let's do the job on it, baby. Come on. Watch it. Play action pass. Play action pass. And make sure you keep them in that pocket.
The early momentum initiated by the Chiefs' offense was sustained by an adventurous defense designed to squeeze Joe Kapp in the pocket and to reach Minnesota's tough runners before they could get started. Overpowered by the Chiefs' enormous defenders, the Viking running game gained only 24 yards in the first half.
Make sure you mark it right. Make sure you mark it right. Oh, you lost your place. Measure it. Take the chains out there. Oh, they didn't make it. My God, they made that by an inch. He definitely gave an extra foot. Bad. Very bad.
When Kapp turned to his passing game, Kansas City's close guarding cornerbacks and linebackers smothered his short passes and intimidated his receivers on longer ones.
Turn around! My ball! It's our ball! The guy didn't see the ball. Didn't see the play. What? We got 6 people out there and you can't see. That's a lousy ball, Rap. Open your eyes. How in the world can all 6 of you miss a play like that? All 6 of you miss a play. that the ball was knocked loose when he made contact. Boy, that's a bad call. Mr. Official, let me ask you something. How can 6 of you miss a play like that, huh? All 6 of you. The ball jumped out of there as soon as we made contact. And then what's that? You were talking about you being on the field. No. What?
Midway through the second period, the Chiefs' secondary forced the game's first turnover when Jim Marsalis knocked the ball from John Henderson and Johnny Robinson recovered on Minnesota's 46. At this point in the game, Hank Stram decided on a most unlikely gambit.
Listen, let's have a little right slot fake draw 908 51 GO reverse. You know, yeah. Okay. Here comes a reverse coming from tight eye. Here comes a reverse from tight eye. Could be wide open here coming up. Tight eye reverse. You might pop something over back into this side. You know, we got a reverse coming from tight eye. Come on, get him out of there, Lenny. Come on, baby. Reverse, reverse. That's right, it happened fast, boys.
The 51 GO reverse would plague the Vikings all day, and it's worth repeating. Carl Ella, number 81, was lured inside by the initial fake, then chopped down by Dave Hill, clearing the outside for a 20-yard gain by Frank Pitts. Pitts' run set up another field goal by Stenerud, and the Chiefs' lead increased to 9 points.
We break them down with these threes, and then we get on that board with some big ones. Come on, Vikings, get it back. Come on, we got to get this thing on. Hey, we don't give them anything, man. We keep throwing that pressure on, putting the coal in the fire, kicking a palm, Jan. Let's go, come on. No frozen room. Get it up in the air so we can cover this thing, all right? Let's go.
Minnesota's Charlie West opened the way to the game's first touchdown when he misplayed the kickoff and Kansas City recovered.
We got the ball, boys.
5 plays later, with the ball on the 4-yard line, Coach Stram called for a
65 toss power trap. Look for 65 toss power trap. What does it look like? Look for our 65 toss power trap. Let's see what it looks like. Gloucester, tell him 65 toss power trap. Get in there for 65 toss power trap. Let's block. Come on, man. Let's get 7 points. Come on, let's go. 65 toss power trap. That might pop wide open, Rex. Is that there? Okay, let's go, boys. Let's go, babes. Was that there, boys? I saw it again on television. Coach pumped it in there, boys.
As we review the 65-horsepower trap, watch the Kansas City line entice the Vikings to the outside, leaving Mike Garrett an open path through the middle. Garrett's touchdown made the score 16-0 and closed out a first half completely dominated by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Sweet!
The opening minutes of the second half offered a complete reversal of the pattern which had been established in the first half.
What in the hell's going on out there with this box? What play did we blow? Wendell Hayes. Where's Wendell Hayes? Wendell Hayes. Where's Wendell Hayes? Wendell Hayes. Get in there. We can't make mistakes in this game. Come on, Marshall. Kill him. Dick him. Come on, give him a shot of some salt. Blaster, Richard, get in there. Hurry up. Get out there. Come on, get out there faster. Come on, come on. Let's wake up. Let it be, Banks. Let it hit him, baby. Let it hit him. What's the matter with that snap? We blew two of them down there. It looked like they were late. Come on, we can't be making any mistakes down here. Who they call?
Surprised and outfought, Kansas City's offense managed only one first down, then turned the ball over to the other half of the Purple Gang and its fierce ringleader, Injun Joe Cat.
We gotta go, dude. One.
Injun Joe blazed a 66-yard trail to the Kansas City goal, running and passing for all but 10 of the yards himself.
Inside, get the ball. Handle that ball.
Dave Osborne's touchdown cut Kansas City's lead to 9 points.
We're gonna win this game, yeah, ain't that right, Joe? Yeah, we're gonna win this game. We're gonna make these guys wish they never come off a reservation. That's telling them. Hey, make sure you now pick out somebody and block. Bring this ball back for us. Let's put out the fire. Listen, Lenny, again. First down, throw that. Get your square out. You have to come close and cover it.
The Chiefs responded to the Vikings score by returning to the strategy which had proved so effective in the first half. And when Minnesota challenged the Chiefs' short passing game, Stram instructed Dawson to switch to his deceptive running attack.
Reverse. Here comes the reverse, boys. Yeah, here comes the reverse. Here it goes again. Reverse. Right there, partner. You got it. First down. You got the first down. Here it is. Move it. Oh, hey, move it up a little bit. You look at his foot here. My God, look where his front of the foot is and where you put the ball. Yeah, but here's, it's right. You did good. You marked it good. No, he's all right. That's good. You marked it good. You did a hell of a job. Nice score. Great job. You marked it good. That's an excellent call. Those officials are doing a hell of a job. Was that reverse there, boys? It was there, wasn't it, boys? It was there, wasn't it? All right, watch it.
With the ball on the Viking 46-yard line, Dawson decided to resume his passing tactics. It was a wise decision. In a brilliant individual effort, Otis Taylor turned a routine hitch pass into a devastating touchdown.
Otis. Yeah. That's the way to inject that ball over the goal line. I knew you'd do it, Doc. Hey, Doc. I knew you'd do it. That's it. Set there, boys. It was very important that we score on that last drive, I tell you that.
A repeat of the touchdown reveals it began from the same sideline pattern, which had worked so successfully in the first half. Taylor's His remarkable run gave Kansas City a 23-7 lead late in the third period. 16 points, the Vikings pinned their fading hopes on the strong arm of determined Joe Kapp.
Come on, offense, let's go! We gotta get to 7!
But all the willpower in the world could not pull Kapp through the rough Chief defense. 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, one by linebacker Willie Lanier, number 63, and the other by safety Johnny Robinson, number 42, ended all hopes of a Viking comeback.
That ball looked like it had helium in it. Football balls and hardly. That's right. Mark it up.
Much of the credit for the interceptions must go to the persistent giants of the Chiefs' defensive line, who dealt Joe Kapp a season's worth of punishment in a single game. Through it all, Kapp was brave and tough, as he always has been. But by the end of the day, he was physically beaten, something he has never been. Defeat is a personal thing,
Nice going.
but victory belongs to everyone.
Nice going, Willie. Hey, Johnny.
Johnny, let's Coach Fran get in.
Johnny, hey, Johnny. Hell of a job. Nice going, baby. Nice going, baby. That's a big kick for us, boy. Nice going. Hey, Bobby Stein. Hey, Bob, nice going, boy. Go ahead for Mike, Lenny Dawson. How do you be, Leonard? You're a champ. Nice going, Leonard. Nice going, baby. Nice going, baby.
On January 11th, 1970, victory belonged to Hank Stram and his Kansas City Chiefs, the world champions of professional football.
World champions! That's it! World champions! World champions!
After the devastating loss to the Chiefs in Super Bowl IV, Boom Boom Brown and the Vikings were determined to get back to their winning ways and reach the Super Bowl with a win for the coach. But Brown struggled with injuries most of the 1970 season. He still played well, it was just unfortunate for him that he missed out on the Pro Bowl. He became the captain of the special teams unit later in his career, which showed that despite his age, his toughness was still impressive. Bill Brown would retire from the game of football after the 1974 season. After retirement, Brown became an insurance salesman as well as a printing salesman for the John Roberts Company. In addition, he spent a lot of time donating his time to various charities around the Twin Cities area and participating in various speaking events. He revered his family and cherished as much time as he could with them. For about 3 seasons, Brown also did some promotional work and some broadcasting for the Vikings Entertainment Network. In 2004, the franchise enshrined him into the Ring of Honor and put his name on the list of 50 greatest players to ever wear the purple jersey for the franchise. On November 4th, 2018, Bill Boom Boom Brown passed away peacefully at the age of 80. He will always be remembered as a guy who loved the game of football, but was also heavily involved as a father to his kids. He was always smiling and having a good time. He will forever be immortalized in the Vikings franchise as the quintessential tough guy with a golden heart. Bill Brown's career stats for the Vikings were 1,649 rushing attempts for 5,838 yards, scored 76 touchdowns, caught 286 passes for 3,183 yards, and played 194 games in the NFL. The last thing he said of his career was that out of all of the accomplishments he received in the NFL, nothing compares to getting a Super Bowl ring. I think I was fairly satisfied with my accomplishments in the NFL, but you wanted to win a Super Bowl, Brown said. That was a taint we got on us. I think a lot of our guys would have been in the Hall of Fame if we'd won a Super Bowl. Thanks for listening to Pigskin Tales. This story was written and produced by your host, Ross Bliley. Edited by Nikki Bliley. References include thisdayinhistory.com, StarTribuneNews.com, YouTube, ProFootballReference.com, DailyNorseman.com, MendozaReporter.com, EnglishRoseSweets.com, Books I Own, Tales from the Minnesota Vikings Sidelines, and 100 Things Vikings fans should know and do before they die. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io. If you like this story, please share it with your friends. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter as Ross's Fancast. We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday's Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.